Hello, welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you're returning. My name is Alyssa, and today I have for you an eyeshadow rotation update. So if you want to know how I did on my lash shades and what my new shades will be, then please keep watching. On my channel, I like to do lots of panning content and projects and all of that with my makeup. So if that sounds interesting, maybe you'll subscribe if you haven't. My eyeshadow rotation project is just me going through using my different magnetic eyeshadows and randomly picking 4 shades and then making a palette around them, but also bringing in my palettes. So my goal is to use each of the eyeshadows 4 times each that are randomly picked. And then the other ones that I'm just adding into the palette are just, I track the uses and they might get used the 4 times before they get drawn in, which does mean that when I have to pick the different shadows with the random generator, sometimes I have to skip a bunch because I've already used them in some sort of way. I'm making it though that it has to be from like this year, like it couldn't have been counting uses from last year or something. So maybe I'll talk about the palette first that I used with the shades. So this is the Zulu palette from Juvia's Place, and my goal for all the palettes is to use them in 5 looks. I can mix it with the singles, that's kind of the point. But yeah, I don't have to get all 5 uses done before I kind of roll out the palette, and my goal is just to use it 5 full uses, at some point in the year. And I mean, hopefully more than that, but it's just sort of a little baseline. So this is what we're looking at for this palette. And I did use it 3 different times. I do try to include pictures with, the looks and all that. Sometimes I don't always get a chance to take a good picture. Sorry, by the way, if it is very noisy. We're having quite the windstorm happening. I just hope that we don't lose power like the last time. And especially not like the last time because it was for multiple days, but we'll see. But yeah, I'm trying to think, the shades that I used, I feel like I might have used the brown. I definitely used the yellow because that's probably my favorite shade in the palette. I used the orange. I used this actually on my cheeks at one point. I believe I used the purple, maybe this pink. But yeah, so I didn't use absolutely every shade in here, but that's fine. I also still have 2 more uses. So maybe, I'll try to remember in the future to do some sort of blue or teal green kind of look with it. So that's that. And then for the eyeshadows, this is how they're looking. I think they look way more loved. Oh, I do want to point out, just so you know, these 2 shades were not technically part of this. They're just in here because they're also ones that I'm working on. Well, actually, no, this is what I'm working on. This is one I had wanted to just play with, and so I just put it in here so that it's with, instead of having like a little tiny palette alongside, this way I'd remember about it. So that's all. But yeah, so here are the shades. So let me talk about first the 4 that were actually drawn in randomly. So Rosette, I did the 4 times, and you can see it's really getting a big pan here. This purple shade, you can see I actually got, I hope you can see, a little tiny pan. So that was unexpected. I wasn't like trying to dig for it or anything. I mean, it's just sort of, I guess it's the lowest part. But yeah, I was just dipping my brush in, I guess, around the same spot each time. Oh, not really though, because there's quite a little crevice there. So anyway, that was exciting. Also, this kind of periwinkle shade, I actually liked this shade a lot more. It looks more blue than it actually is. And so yeah, I liked pairing it a lot with the purple looks, because sometimes the purples can pull almost just more pink. And so if I want to really, get more of a purple look, this helped kind of keep it purple. Then this, but I should say this shade is still going to be hanging around just because it's in another project. So it might end up getting put in the new palette just so I remember to use it, but it's, it's done. This Hop On shade, I also then finished the 4 times. And then this Pinky Shimmer, I did do the 4 times. This was probably the hardest to remember to use. So there's that. I also finished in this, which were not, mandatory, this shade Anomaly and Maids and Milking, and let's see, anything else. Oh, this pink shade too. I also finished that one in this go round. All right, as far as the other ones, this brown shade I used 3 times, and then this shade here, Times Square, I used it twice. And then we have, which one was, hold on. Okay, so I'm sorry about that. I'm very silly. I forgot that I had taken this shade out for something, and so here it is back. I'm like, what is that shade? So that one I had only used 1 time so far, so okay. This orange shade I used twice. Snake Eyes I used twice. This dark shimmer I used 2 times, and I believe I talked about everything in here. Yes, so a lot of, completed shades. I really feel like I'm making good progress in this project with using everything. I don't know if I said I used Anomaly on the kind of outer corner here. Like I did that first, then I put the rosette shade on top, and then I used this as like the inner corner, well, inner lid, not inner corner, more of an inner lid type of thing. Just to do kind of a simple, it was just all shimmer look, because if you can tell, I'm in my, I went to volunteer, and that's why I'm kind of a mess. And I'm gonna get myself cleaned up because we're going to do the new shades. So let's see that. If I sound like I'm out of practice, it's because I am. We were gone for multiple days, and my kids had a week off of school, so I have not filmed for a bit, and I am so rusty. But you're gonna be seeing, well, right now you're just looking at my old eyeshadows, the last rotation, but you're also going to be seeing on this screen the new ones getting drawn in. So the first one that I actually, need to still kind of use, that hasn't been used yet, is this shade from the Juicy Boost palette, and it's just a white, so nothing too wild there. The next shade was also from Juicy Boost, and so it is this pinky shade, and I'm gonna swatch all of these too for you. The next one was that one that had been in this rotation, and it got, rolled in now, and it's like, well, perfect, because I only used it the 1 time, so I just need to use it 3 more times. And it is fun for layering. Like I definitely played around with it. I just didn't use it on my eyes, which is what I need in order to count it. So this will be good. And then finally, so here's the thing also, my Vivid Pigments. So here's the thing, my Vivid Pigments palette, I had it all a completely different order than how it was supposed to be in the palette. So I decided for this time, when it was picking shades for me, to actually go off of how it's supposed to look. So that means that the shade I get to use this time is the yellow. I haven't used it yet. So there might be a time when something gets drawn, it's like, oh, actually I did use that. But I've been trying to label them when I write it down as, actually, let me make sure I do that. Oh, I did, yeah. So I wrote this one down as that it's the yellow. So in case later, if I look back and I'm like, didn't I use the yellow? And it's like, yes, I did. Okay, so these are the 4 shades. And this is how they're spaced out my arm right now. You can tell this one's definitely very chunky, but it's fine. The other shades are good. And so it's already kind of getting to a color story, I feel like, as it is. And so the first shade that I was kind of inspired by was the yellow. And I decided to bring in this Golden Peach shade from Sydney Grace. And I also wanted another kind of orangey matte. So let me do this. All right, so I'm gonna kind of swatch them as the little color stories I was thinking of. Not that I can't mix and match, because that's also kind of part of the idea here. Oh, my finger was a little wet. There we go. And I just have to hope I don't get this on my white shirt. Let's see, can I pull that up? Okay, so we've got, this warmy color kind of story right there. And then I'm just gonna show you the rest. So I guess what I was thinking of next was, I think it was actually this shimmer I pulled next, because I was thinking about for, wanting something a little bit on the pinky side. So this rosebud shade is basically like a rose gold in a way, a little bit more gold than that, but close. And then this matte is one of the pinky ones that I haven't used yet. So let me go ahead and do those, the pink. So we got this shade and then this shade. But I figured that pink that was rolled in is more of a darker one, so this is sort of a blending out shade. And then you'll see I actually have lots of mattes this time. Next, I was actually thinking about the neutral part here, just having something light to go with things. And I didn't really do a deep shade this time, so I'm gonna have to kind of rely on some of my other shades I'm working on, but I do have like a dark brown in a different project that I'm using, and also I didn't really want to do a dark shade that would compete with that. So here's just a very simple kind of neutral shades to help with some of these other ones. And then I wanted to have some fun. The blue I actually thought of next. I mean, I guess it's more of like almost a teal, okay? So I thought this could be fun. This is actually from the Juicy Boost palette. And then when I was trying to think about something else that would be fun, this is also from the Juicy Boost. And this was one that when I had the Juicy Boost palette pulled in, I had not used this shade and I wanted to. So I figure, well, here's a good time that it would work really well with this colorful type of situation we have. So this is what I came up with. So it's definitely, I think, very fun, and it's almost kind of going into summer, but maybe that's because I was in San Diego and it was warm and felt like summer, so maybe I'm just already in those vibes, even though here it is dark and wet and, and all that. But yeah, so this is going to be my palette. I'm going to go ahead and make a look from it and let you see how that is. Okay, I am back. I have my finished look. I'm going to talk about it, but I also realized I forgot to tell you about the palette that I was bringing in to go along with these shades, because that's what I do every time. I decided to do something a little different, partially because I had picked so many matte eyeshadows. I don't know what got into me. I was just feeling it. But I was like looking through, and I mean, obviously an easy, obvious choice would be the Juicy Boost palette because I'm already using a bunch of shades from it. But I want to do something else that I feel like, kind of adds more. And then I was thinking about these singles that I have. So technically they're kind of together as a palette. That's how I got it. And I have taken them out and things like that, but here they are. So this is from the Dots brand. And they are all slightly duochromatic. They basically all have like a blue shift to them, which is interesting. My goal whenever I bring in new makeup is always to use like the eyeshadows 5 times each. So far I have 3, 4, 4, 5, 3 for the uses here. So, although I should say that now this one has 4 because I used it. But yeah, I decided that this would kind of add a little bit of shimmer to these, and I thought maybe by playing around with the different colors here that I might not just have like a blue shift all the time, that it might kind of get a little bit more fun. So yeah, it's just kind of, because I figure out like I had like these like sort of like pinky reddish almost orange yellow, like there's a lot going on that would work with that. So it's not going to be then making 5 looks. It's just going to be trying to finish off the uses on there, because also I figured this is not cheating. Generally, I only use one of the shades at a time. Maybe I would use 2, but when I was going through, I'm like, yeah, this would end up being like probably 5 looks or something just to finish it off. So there you go. But yeah. And so for this look that I did today, I actually then used all 4 shades that were, mandatory. So the white you can't actually see, it is under the yellow. So I used my white eyeshadow stick just in the inner corner put the white on top, and then I use basically the part that's like the brightest yellow is where I put the white shadow, and then did some yellow and just kind of went in. I did this neutral shadow, although you can't really, I guess, see much of it now because it kind of got covered up, but the most you'd be able to see it is like in this area. And then I'd gone in with this pink shade all over, and then I tried to go over with this raspberry shade, but it's really, I don't know, you can kind of tell, like over here I've got like some patches. Some of this is because the eyeliner went funny, so that's not the eyeshadow's fault, but it was also just being a little patchy, because even over here it's not the best, and I don't know what's, I think this is more of the eyeliner maybe. Okay, anyway, what else did I use? Oh, I used the blue as a liner, although I guess if you went in really close you could see it, but it was like on top of the black liner that I have, so it's kind of faded a bit. Maybe I can add, let me add a little bit more in. Let's see, I used this shade, or this brush, so let's see, I'll just kind of redo it. There we go. Yes. Although I already took some pictures, so I guess you're not going to see it as much in that. Maybe I'll redo them. Okay. So that's a little better now. Okay. And what else did I use? Was that it? Oh, and then on the lower lash line, I cheated a little bit because I used this shade that's not technically part of the palette, but I just wanted to have something under there. I probably could have used this shade as well, but you know, it's my makeup. I can do what I want with it. And then like I said, I used this then on top, and so you can see that like there's no, I don't think there's any bit of like the red or anything. You're just seeing the blue. So, you know, it'd be interesting to see like if I layer it over like the raspberry shade. Oh, I wonder, you know what? Let's see if putting it over here, what it will turn into, just to help with that patchiness. I mean, I'm still kind of seeing blue, but maybe when I turn, then it gets, okay. Okay, maybe it does do something. And I'll have to do over here too. Maybe it will help then if I've got some patchiness issues going on. All right. Well, that kind of just softened that raspberry look a bit, but that's okay. Because it was, like I said, it was just being patchy for whatever reason. So yeah. Oh, and of course, I'm sorry, all over the lid was where I used this shade then. So let's see if I use my finger. Can I get more? That one is, I don't know, I'm still trying to learn like how best to use it, because it'll look really shifty on my finger, it'll look shifty in the pan, and I guess it's a bit, but it also tends to get, like it clings to the texture a bit maybe, so I don't know. I used it with my Fiorine, where are you? Oh, I'm in the wrong spot. With the Pixie Epoxy, and maybe that helps some. But yeah, you know, I don't know. Maybe I could just try only using a wet brush. I feel like if I use the NYX glitter primer, it's gonna be too sticky and just make it extra chunky looking. So, but yeah, that is my first look with this rotation, and it was really fun. It felt like all the colors go together, because yeah, I have that pop of teal in there, but then it's just a pop, and you know, it's fine. I do kind of wonder if I made some hard pan though on this raspberry shade. I'm gonna work on that. But yeah, so this is what I'm working on for this next, I don't know, I feel like it's been basically taking about a couple weeks or so at a time to go through each rotation, so we'll see if I am that lucky this time. I want to thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully you liked it. Until my next video, I hope you'll be doing well, and I will see you then. Bye. Hello, welcome back to my channel, or just welcome if you're returning. That made no sense. On last month's rotation and what the new rotation will be. Wait, I said last month. Okay. Is this how it's gonna be every time it's been like a week or whatever since I filmed?